Past the Security Plus? Still don't feel job ready? Well, guess what? You're probably being honest with yourself because the truth is the Security Plus is the bare minimum and it may start to get you some notice, but you won't be job ready yet. So, in this video, I'm going to give you 5 steps to turn that one certification into something hiring managers will actually care about. If you're trying to get into cybersecurity without wasting a ton of effort, this is that roadmap for you. A lot of people actually get right to this point. They study really hard, they pass the exam, they feel great about themselves for about 5 minutes. Then the reality hits in. I don't feel ready for the job and I'm not getting a ton of notice or interviews with that one certification. But let me tell you, from a hiring manager's perspective, Security Plus is not enough to make you job ready. So, step one, you need to choose the role you actually want to do. Sec Plus is a starting point, it's not the destination. One of the biggest mistakes I have seen beginners make is they say, I want to get into cybersecurity and that's it. It's a super broad topic, but there are so many specialties in this business that it doesn't make sense. They all have their own nuances, and you have to specialize. You have to focus. Saying I want to be in cybersecurity is way too broad. It could be a GRC analyst, a detection engineer, a pen tester, a red teamer, a forensic analyst, a malware analyst, IAM. It's almost never ending. New roles are popping out every day. Now, if you don't know where you want to go next, your roadmap is going to get very, very messy and you're going to go nowhere fast. So I encourage you to, after watching this video, of course, start exploring the different options out there and figure out what is your primary goal? What will you enjoy doing long term? So, after you get the Security Plus, your first job isn't to learn everything, it's to focus and decide on what you want to do. And that's what we want to learn. If you're early in your journey, I definitely recommend targeting one of those jobs with a lot more entry level opportunities like SOC analyst, GRC analyst, vulnerability management analyst, the things like that that have a lot more entry levels that you have a much higher chance of getting into. So you can get your feet into the door and start building up that very elusive experience. So before you buy that next course, that next certification, spend months studying for something, ask yourself, where do I want to go? Because clarity beats random effort every time, hands down. Step two, turn that cert knowledge, that theory, into practical skill. Cybersecurity gives you a vocabulary to speak from, a framework, some basic concepts, and that's useful starting out. But jobs aren't paying you just to know vocabulary, just to know concepts. And that's actually where a lot of people realize the gap between that first certification and the job. It's the hands on, can I actually do this thing? So, your next step is obviously to go out and start building those skills. We're not building everything. We're not doing all the things. We're focusing, niching down on where you want to go and spending our time on that only. If your target is a SOC analyst job, we're going to be spending time in tools like a SIM, firewalls to understand the different types of networking logs and alerts and things like that, because that's what you're going to see on the job and that's what you're going to see in those interviews when you land them. And guess what? After you get through a lot of this, this is where you start to become job ready. Step three, let's now build proof, not just knowledge. This is where a lot of people actually stay weak. They keep learning, but they don't build anything. They don't show off the work that they've done, and they don't give the attention that they deserve. And guess what? When the hiring manager comes around, looks at that resume, looks at your LinkedIn profile, they just see that you have the Security Plus, and that's it. I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's not going to be enough to help you land a job. And you need proof. And luckily, the proof doesn't have to be fancy, it just needs to speak to the knowledge that you've acquired and show that you've been improving and gaining those critical skills that employers are looking for. So these can be hands on labs, write ups, talking about your journey in a blog, LinkedIn posts, documenting mini projects, things like that. What matters isn't that it's super advanced, but that when an employer looks at it, they're looking and seeing that, hey, this person has really been steadily growing. I like what I'm seeing here. They have a really good starting point, and it's not going to take a lot of time for me to teach them. Or rather, it's going to take me less time to teach them than these other potential analysts. And what all this evidence ends up doing is it's speaking for you when you're not there, saying, I may be new, but I'm serious about this. And I've really been working to pick up these skills and I have them. So put me in, coach. All right. So, step 4, we need to build that resume up to tell a story about you and why you deserve a shot to get into the door as whatever your role is. A lot of people think they just need to load up this resume with a lot of stuff they've learned, whether it's certifications, degrees, whatever. But typically, the problem is they're not communicating what they have done very well. If your resume is super generic, it's not focused on something specific, it's kind of scattered, cluttered, and all of that, it's not communicating a good story for you. Pretty much what it's saying is, I like cybersecurity, I have a security plus. That's not a compelling argument. A better story that you could tell is I got a security plus and I kept going. I have done all these different online labs. I have these projects documented. These are the skills that I've gained. This is why I'm a good hire and I can be successful in your environment too. But that's not the only thing, right? Yes, your resume should support the story, but so should your LinkedIn profile, your portfolio, the way you interview. All those things also have to support the story as well. Step 5 is preparing for the interview for the job you're actually looking for. This is another surprise people get as well. They study super broadly, then they start getting asked very specific questions that they don't know because they haven't studied them. They just understood Security Plus, which is broad, but there's so much to each one of these entry level roles that isn't included in the Security Plus. Not only that, but a whole bunch of practical information that's really fundamental to the job that isn't conveyed in that certification. The other problem is that they prepare for these interviews just like a normal exam. They memorize a bunch of stuff, but they don't understand it in detail. And that's what's needed for interviews these days. They want to know how you think. What are your critical thinking skills? Do you actually understand the concepts well enough to use that knowledge creatively? Because that's the world of cybersecurity. Nothing is how it is in the books. So understanding the concepts so important. So in this interview, you need to sound like you're moving beyond the certification and you're actually ready for that job you're looking for. This means that you should be ready to talk about the projects you've done, the role you're looking for, even the things you're currently working to improve. That self awareness is a huge thing for analysts, being able to know where you're weak so you can actually improve it. And here's another good thing: good candidates don't fake mastery. They show good direction, they show good judgment, they show that they are building real skills with a purpose. So here's that simple roadmap for you one last time. 1, choose a target role. 2, build practical skills for that role. 3, create proofs of skills in labs and projects that you have done. 4, improve your resume and your professional story. And then finally, 5, prepare to explain your readiness in that interview. So that's it. That's the path. Not endless studying, not preparing for everything, not chasing every cert, direction, skill, proof, communication. And this is how you turn the Security Plus into a job. And one last thing, by the way, don't make the mistake of thinking that job ready means perfect. None of us are perfect. We're always learning. And that's the exciting part about being in cybersecurity is that we can never stop learning. Job ready means Understanding the role you're aiming for, you have a relevant baseline skill, you can show proof that you're building that skill, and you can communicate like someone serious about the work. That's a much more realistic goal. And that's exactly what this series is about. So if you're looking to go beyond certs and get ready for a job, follow the series. The next video is all about what SOC analysts do during the day, because before you can get job ready, you need to understand the role.